Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Womenstrual, the podcast. I am your host, Candice, and this is a series of conversations about the ebbs and flows of life and a safe space to discuss periods. Today's guest. She is a founder, she is a innovator, she is a trailblazer, she is a social entrepreneur, she is an MBE holder, and an all-round one of literally one of the best people that I know. I feel very honoured to call her friend, and I am very excited for this conversation with my dear friend and October babe.
Yay!
Leanne Pero. All the screams, all the claps, all the things.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
you for having me.
Of course.
That's a beautiful introduction.
Of course. You're all of those things and many, many more things.
What an honour to be here. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you, girl. We've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So I want to just kind of start with just a little bit of background to who Leanne is. Outside of all the titles, outside of all the things you do, a little bit of background, like, who is Leanne?
God, I don't even know where to start. Do you know what? I hate talking about myself in that way, but who am I? I am, well, just about to be 40.
Please. I feel like I want to do the Will Smith thing.
Just about to be 40. What can I say? I'm a social entrepreneur. I'm a lover of life. I'm a lover of people. I'm a lover of building communities. I am just a really low-key, what's everyone saying now? Low-key babe. Like,
This girl is not low-key.
Just in my peaceful era. Do you know what? Just really reflecting on the last, I guess, 25 years of social entrepreneurship. That's what I'm doing at the moment with a big birthday like this looming. But also just reflecting on my various journeys of hardship, I guess, to hope. So that's where I'm at, Can.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You're all of those things. And in terms of, let's start with social entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So that started with dance.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Okay. Talk a little bit about the Movement Factory and how that, when did you start dancing, in fact?
Do you know what? I started dancing at 11.
Okay.
There was a youth centre attached to my secondary school. And when I first started secondary school, they sort of came into the playground and was like, what do you want to do? You know? And I remember I loved dance. Like, my sister will always tell you stories of me like dancing and at home and getting her to do dance routines and all this crazy stuff. And I was like, oh, we want to do dance. And do you know what? In all fairness to them, they set it right up. They were like, okay, cool. And they got a dance teacher. She happened to be like a street dance champion. And that's when I started in year 7 in dance and really, really started taking it quite seriously. Yeah.
What styles did you start with? Street?
Just all street dance. Yeah. It wasn't until I went to college and started doing dance in all different styles. But yeah, by the time I got to 15, they had recognised some qualities in me. I say it's the bossiness in me, really, that I, started to like just lead on the classes when she wasn't there and when she was away performing. Yeah. And I started teaching my own dance classes at that same youth centre at 15 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's where it all started.
Wow. So did you put yourself forward for the dance class teaching, or did they approached you?
No, my lovely mentor, I still speak to him now, David, he just said, look, she's leaving and we would love you to run the class. And I went, okay. And I remember he said, but we have to pay you. Have you got your NI? Is it NI number? Yeah. And I had just got my NI number. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then I remember starting over the summer. And I remember the first class and I thought no one was going to turn up. And there was just, the whole class was ram-packed in this big hall. Yeah, there was loads. And I even remember my first song that I danced to. It was Missy Elliott, 1 minute.
Oh my God. Wow, you went with that.
Oh my
God.
That's a tune. That's a tune.
It's a tune.
You don't even know what
You're not thinking about that at 15.
No, you're not thinking about this.
You're not thinking about that at 15. You're thinking, this is a tune and it's got a good beat and it makes sense.
You're only dancing to the beat. But anyway, oh my God, I just didn't realise. Cringe. But yeah, that was that. So that's what I mean, 25 years later, here we go.
I love it. And what has kept you in dance for 25 years? Because that is such a commitment.
Yeah.
And dance can be a little bit of a rock and a hard place for people. And I feel like it's one of the creative art forms that often gets overlooked. Like I feel like if you're a musician, it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
If you're an actor, okay, cool. You're a dancer, you're like, okay, so what, you just yeah.
It's funny, I think I went down dance in a different route. You know, I think, you know, I was, you know, I was homeless at 13, right? And I went through some really tough things in my teenage years that I then had to go and live with my dad, who I was estranged from, right? And dance was that one thing that kept me going throughout that whole time. And I guess by the time I got to 15, after really a turbulent few years, I realised actually this was the thing that saved me. And again, just because of those things in my personality, bossy, whatever, but maybe I always look back and go, that's where I found my purpose for community loving because and building, because that was the thing that really made me go, I don't want any other person to go through what I was going through. Plus, I'd become like the confidant to a lot of my friends, and I realised that I wasn't alone in some of the things I was going through. So for me, it just really, I came into dance very differently. My dance journey's been very different. I went to college. I came out of college and I realised I was in a very different position than my friends. Everyone was going off to uni, dance colleges, auditions. I didn't. I had lots and lots of work, you know, already lined up. I'd had freelance work. And, you know, my journey was really different. But what I noticed was that my background really was around nurturing people through dance. So that was like going into schools with kids that, you know, are not very much like engaging in normal lessons and going in and teaching dance and then finding their passion through that and helping them engage and attend school. Those were where my passions lied. Performing wasn't necessarily for me. I didn't have the nerve for it. I always were very nervous. It wasn't something I really wanted to do. And I think when I look back on it a lot, when I think about the stuff I'd gone through as well, I think I had really bad PTSD, but I didn't recognize that. I didn't have the language or the know-how. So performing for me, I would get really nervous. I'd be great in rehearsals. I'd be great at auditions. I'd be even great when we were filming videos and music videos and things like that. But in terms of performing in front of loads of audiences, my nerves would get the best of me. And I realized that after a while. And so it just wasn't for me. But what I recognise now is that I had severe PTSD in so many ways, and it really affected how I showed up. And so I really leaned into the teaching and I really leaned into the nurturing through dance. And that's how my companies began, because it was all of that created this massive program of community dance that I started. And that's really... Now I know it was my life purpose to do that, but it wasn't intentional. It wasn't planned. It's just how it was. So I began dance very different. I always say it's community dance. That's what it is. That's what I do. That's what I specialize in. I'm really taking away the idea of creating really great dancers. That's not what I'm here to do. And that's not what it's about for me. It's about using dance as a tool, to really help young people engage and create positivity and positive life skills, because that's what it did to me. It allowed me to have friends when I felt like I was alone at home. It built me confidence. It allowed me to have those feelings of achievement and joy, which I wasn't having elsewhere.
It's great for team building as well.
Team building. All these things that you're going through, and those are the things I know so many of my alumni now have come back that have their own families or their own dance careers and all these other things, and they go, if I didn't have dance, I don't know what I would have done. And that to me is my best compliment, and that's what keeps me going, running things 25 years later. That
is literally incredible, because I think dance is actually a form of community, like galvanizing. Like even in our community as well, like dance is such a social, it's a social expression. So in so many ways, continuing to keep that as your underlying thread has been so beautiful to watch, and actually building people up to have those skills. Because I think in so many ways, when we do things as a child or we do things like dance, we're not realising how they're going to shape us moving forward. No, like dance absolutely brought me some of my closest friends at the time. It absolutely introduced me to like the ability to, because obviously I also come from a dance background, but it also taught me like when it's your time to shine, you should do that. And I remember a story. I remember a story, and I know my mum is going to laugh. Because there was a time in dance where I was put in the class beneath mine because there wasn't enough people in my class who were going to do the show that was coming up. So say, for example, there was like 10 people in my class, all of them weren't doing it. So I was going to do it. So they just put me in the class beneath. So when I was in the class beneath and we went on the stage, I danced like everybody else in that class. At that time in my life, I was very reserved, didn't really want to be centre of attention. I still don't really, but like I'm a lot more like at home with myself now. But at that time, I was very like reserved, subdued, didn't really want to be centre of attention. And based on my environment, I was also, if not the only, but one of the very few black girls in the class. So I already stood up and I danced like that. And then afterwards, everyone said, oh my gosh, it was great. And my mum literally knelt down and she looked at me and said, you see that how you dance like that? Never do that again.
Love mummy.
Never do that again.
Yeah.
You dance how you dance.
Exactly.
You do not put yourself down to the level of other people in your in your environment. You allow other people to level up to you. If you do that again, I'll take you out the whole thing.
Yeah, I love that.
Trust me. The next year,
the
show comes out, and I all I could hear was that repeating in my brain. When I came off the stage, people coming up to and say, "Oh my gosh, Candice was amazing!
Exactly.
Wow, look at her growth. This, that, and the other." And my mum said, "That's more like it."
Do you know what though? You need people in your life that will remind you of that, because what that's about is not dimming your light to make others shine. And what a lesson that is. Because that lesson sometimes takes people lifetimes to that. So the fact that you had that amazing, strong role model there telling you that is a big thing.
Yeah. And it's only in my adult years do I realise how important even that message
was.
Message
there, that's why it stayed in your mind.
Because it helped me continue to not dim my light in other areas. And anytime I thought,
remember that?
I remember that.
Exactly.
I absolutely remember that.
Exactly.
So journeying through dance has happened. You're now in your 20s. You now get to 30. What was kind of some of the main key moments that took you from like that 15 point where you're teaching a dance class and now you're 30? What are some of the key things that happened in your life in that time?
I think for me, one of the big things, and, you know, I do talk about this to a certain degree, but I think it will add context, is the fact that I did go through sexual abuse as a child, you know, hence why...
I've heard this before, and I'm literally in my heart every single time.
And I share it when I feel comfortable, and I do feel comfortable with you. And I think it's important to give context to people about that, because I think that shaped a lot of decisions I've made in my life as a 40-year-old woman. And I think I didn't, and I think when I talk about the PTSD in dance, and I talk about, you know, sort of the fact that I was, you know, lived outside of the family home and all of these things, it was because of that whole situation. And during that time, I had met, you know, somebody who I would always say is my childhood sweetheart. I was with him from 17 to 27. And even that relationship came to an end was very much tied up in a lot of unhealed trauma from that whole sexual abuse case and everything else. But what I would say about that was that it took for me to get to 27 for me to realise that I needed to hit rock bottom, for me to realise that I needed some serious help to get over what had happened. Bearing in mind, to the world, I was presenting as this very successful young entrepreneur, building this business, making money, doing my thing, living my best life, still going on holidays with friends, doing the thing. And then all of a sudden, boom, hit, crash, bang, wallop. And I remember 27, I was at my peak. I was teaching, you know, so many classes. I was thinking I was teaching like 26 classes a week.
Wow.
Yeah, teaching 26 classes a week. It was busy. And I will never forget, I took the summer off. I took 8 weeks off over summer. And I remember I was like, I need to see a therapist. And that, I always call it phase maybe 2 or 3. You know, we're always in these different phases of life. That was like phase 2 or 3 of my life cycle, because I went into that. I'd never got therapy before. And that first therapy session, I was only meant to be with the guy for an hour. He ended up staying with me. I was the last client of the day. And I remember it was a Saturday. He ended up staying with me for 3 hours.
Wow.
And I remember going, I'm really depressed from this breakup. I don't know what happened. I'm trying to make sense of everything that's happened. I feel really awful in myself. And he was like, no, we need to go and unpack the sexual abuse. And in that 3 hours, I never thought about that sexual abuse or myself in the same way. And what I'd realised for a long time is that I'd been living with a lot of shame, blame, guilt, which affected how I saw myself in that whole time. So no wonder I didn't have a dance career, because I didn't think of myself worthy. No wonder I was a bag of nerves, because I wasn't thinking I was deserving. No wonder I was, showing up in situations, in the relationship or myself, dimming my light so that others could shine, never bigging myself up, behind the scenes all the time, building everyone else up apart from myself. No wonder I felt rubbish. And I didn't know how much that whole situation had been doing that. And it was like a light bulb switched. So from 27 to 30, it was this beautiful healing journey, but one where I came into my own. I was single. I was able to focus on myself. I had this glow up. I was looking after myself, taking care of myself a bit more. Just little things, like allowing myself again, I think these whole things like with sexual abuse, it robs you of so much things like, feeling worthy. So I was wearing makeup, experimenting with fashion, all these things. And, I started to just really live my life until 30, so who would have known 3 years later, living the prime of my life. I also wrote a book. I self-published a book. Yes.
Wow.
A little mini book I did. I self-published a book about getting to 30, being this entrepreneur. I had been in 15 years in business. All right. It's really, really embarrassing.
First of all.
No, this book, I'm not joking. Right, I've got copies. I'll give you one.
Thank you.
I'm not joking. When I read back on it now, it like cringes me out. But I rate myself for doing it.
Absolutely.
And I self-published it and everything. But it's a bit cringy just because it's just not relatable. And it's really bit dictatorish.
I'm screaming. It made sense for who you were at the time.
But then obviously, as we know, the journey changed with cancer, and I think so it's not very relatable. I took it off of Amazon a while back, but I will give you a copy. But I wrote a book, and I thought life was going to be very different. And then we all know what happens next.
So then at 30, you are diagnosed with breast cancer. Not to go into the depths of that, because I know you've relived this story 100,000 times. But if you were to use one word to describe how you felt in that moment, especially coming out of your 27 to 30 transition, when you heard that news, how did you feel?
Whoa, to find a word. I could be honest with you, if you turned around and told me, if someone could turn around and give me the language to describe probably the worst feeling in the world, I would take that word. The word devastation does not cut it. The word petrified doesn't cut it. The word, I don't know. There's not a word that can tell you how to feel when you feel like the worst you've ever felt. And bearing in mind, prior to that, look what I'd been through. Already, by 30, had been through so much, more than what most people would experience in their lifetime. So to get that, I can't tell you, but it was the worst feeling in the world. And again, it brought back all these old feelings of shame and blame. Is it me? Why have I got cancer at this young age? Is it all the stress? Is it this? What have I done? It was like, have I caused my cancer? There's a lot of shame and blame that comes with something like that. And I think, it was devastating.
And your journey from 30 to becoming cancer-free, which you now are.
I am.
Which Amen. You now are. I want to make sure I mention that.
I am.
Inspired you to create Black Women Rising. And for people who are living under a rock and don't know what Black Women Rising is, please tell us what Black Women Rising is.
Well, Black Women Rising is a charity that empowers women of colour through their cancer diagnosis at every stage of their cancer diagnosis, from the moment they feel symptoms or they're going through checks, all the way into their survivorship journey for people like myself who are entering almost like the 9-year mark, you know, of being cancer free. You know, we work with people who are at every stage of their cancer journey, including people who are living with a terminal diagnosis as well. We also, you know, contribute to efforts to educate, you know, healthcare professionals about our needs. We consult, we provide help and resources for research. We do a lot.
Yeah, you do.
Everything to do with women of colour and cancer care.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And it is heavy but important work. Heavy and important work. And that is also signs of a social entrepreneur. If you're to find some key things that you think, or themes that you feel like has continued to enable you to just execute at the level that you do as a social entrepreneur, because I don't really meet many social entrepreneurs. And when I think of myself, I think I would like to be that. I would like to be a social entrepreneur. That makes sense to me. I feel like it's a nice hybrid between like real having like community and like that focus at the front end and business at the back end. What are some of the things that you have learnt as a social entrepreneur?
It's all business. That's number one.
Noted.
It's all business, right? And that is the truth. There's bills to pay. There's overheads to pay. It's all business. Money has to flow through. Financial health has to be very, what's that word when financial health has to be very apparent, you know, because you're reporting to bodies and funding. Nothing is for free. You know, we have to account for every penny. And I think like that's one of the first things I learned. It works the same as any other business, and this is it. But instead of always putting finance at the forefront, you know, there's purpose and there's passion, which always is the driving force behind it. Lots of people will say, you know, with a main business, you know, commercial-led businesses, you know, profit is at the forefront, as well as the passion, of course. But social, you know, entrepreneurship is really putting the social aspects and the social goals and aims at the forefront of that. And that is what drives me. The money doesn't drive me. I would do it for free. And quite frankly, I do not get paid enough for what I do. And that's okay because I do other things. And that's never been my driving force. It just never has. Me, it's all about purpose. It's all about passion. And that's why I do it, you know, and that's why I've always done the stuff I've done. You know, contrary to what other people may say, you know, look, come on, you need to do this and let's do that. And I'm like, I've got no desire. Social entrepreneurship, I think, gets frowned on a lot. But there are some people who I've met who are social entrepreneurs, you know, with, you know, organisations that have raised millions and millions of pounds. I'm really proud to sit here and say, you know, Black Women Rising has just passed the £1.1 million fundraising. I love that for you. Point for us.
Literally love that.
Thank you. And that means a lot because, you know, we're grassroots and we started from scratch. But can you see like the Movement Factory and all this other journey and everything I've been through has prepared me for this.
Absolutely.
Really prepared me for starting that. You know, lots of people all the time, they're like, oh, how comes Black Women Rising does so well? And I'm like, because I had 15 years of experience running things beforehand. People fail to realise that. You know, I set up boards, I've sat on charities, I set up other charities for other organisations. This was always been my bag. I've consulted on other charities and social enterprises, was a part of like some of the first cohorts when it came to like CICs and the formation of that, you know, legal structure. I was doing so much. So again, you don't think about these things. It's only in the last couple of years where I've been doing a lot of reflecting because I think after my cancer journey, I did not think I was going to get to 40. And as the 37, the 38s came, and then coming into 39, there's been a lot of reflection, but also a lot of like, actually, how do I want the next phase of my life to look? But in order to do that, I've had to look back. And that means allowing myself to bask in a lot of the things that I have been privy to and been part of. And that social entrepreneurship journey has been a huge thing for me. You know, I've been running businesses, been running this for 25 years next year. That's a big thing.
It's a massive thing.
And I'm very proud, you know.
It's a massive thing. And I heard a pastor once say, life is lived forward but understood backwards.
I love that.
And
I really love that.
and
I love that.
And like, it's all of those things. And the fact that you can see that, like, what people might consider an overnight success is actually, no, I had 15 years worth of experience in all of these fields. Yeah. And it's a bit like when you're maybe working in a job that you don't like because you really want to do some other thing. And it's actually, if you take stock of where you are, like, what are you here? If you're not earning what you want to, like, learn instead. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And it's like, what can you take whilst you're here? Because you don't know what the next version and season and phase of life is going to require of you. And I think you have done such a beautiful job of staying the course. I think in this generation, you don't really see people stay the course.
No, you don't.
See it through. Like, take it to the next level. Like, all of those things. If it doesn't bang straight away, it's like, do you know what? I don't think it's meant for me.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all of that. And it's all of that. And I think you've done such a beautiful job of just demonstrating that consistency pays off. It really pays off. And when thinking about your life as you approach 40, what are some of the most, I'd say, what is the hardest lesson you've had to learn? What is the lesson that sticks with you? If someone asks you, what's one piece of advice you'd give to someone, what's that piece? And also, if you had to think of a lesson that would go viral as a tweet, what would that be? So let's go with hardest first.
The hardest lesson I've had to learn is that not everyone is going to be for you. I think as my mum would say, her most sensitive child, but I would say an oversensitive Libra. You know, Libras are lovers, and we're romanticizers as well. We have this view that everyone's our friend and everybody is for us, and we see life very, very different. I think we always have to do a little bit of learning there, that not everyone's for you. And I think I learned that at such a young age, and then tried to, like, really always almost romanticize figures in my life that have turned out to be no good. And I think that's been a really hard lesson to learn. And that could be people I may have worked with, friends that I thought that I would have in my life forever, romantic partners, whatever. Actually, not everyone's for you. That's been hard. Yeah. I would say the best advice I ever got, and I give now, is that everything will always be okay. And I find that those words provide me with a lot of comfort. And I tell you something, it was a friend of mine who I lost, who said it to me. And she told me that. And she passed a few days later. And that's what she said. She said, everything will always be okay. And everything will always work out. And I thought, in that moment, like, of devastation, that's what she said. But she was right. It always does work out to be okay. And that was been a massive source of comfort for me.
Yeah. I love that. Oof.
I know.
Yeah. That's hard. That's a tough one, because when you look at your life and you think everything looks like it's just gone Pete Tong. And you know what? Even with Pete Tong, you know, I actually thought the statement Pete Tong was just like some random statement, but there's actually a person called Pete Tong.
Yeah, I know Pete Tong. Yeah, big time DJ. Yeah.
I was like, oh wow. Yeah. There's actually a DJ called Pete Tong.
No, random. No, that's so funny.
But when you feel like life has really gone a little bit Pete Tong, having that sense of comfort and having that sense of, like, everything will actually be okay. It's like the scripture that says all things work out for your good. And, like, although things don't look like they're working, they eventually will work out for your good.
Absolutely.
And going back to your cancer journey a little bit, I've always been curious. First of all, do you remember, in the nature of this podcast, do you remember when you started your period, and how was your period affected when you had cancer?
Yeah. Absolutely. I was one of those lucky ones. I started my period, I think, at the same age as everybody else in my school. You know, there was a couple of girls that had a bit of an abnormal period that started a lot earlier, had really bad period pains. I never had all of that. My periods were, I would say, relatively normal. Yeah. And then, unfortunately, with cancer, that's one of the first things they told me in the consultant room, that I would lose my periods and go into a chemical menopause. And I guess from there, that's where it really showed me about period journeys. The last 9 years, I've gone through my period stopping. I've gone through having an underactive thyroid. I've had painful periods. I now have fibroids. I suffer from really, really bad sickness around my periods, particularly the first 2 days. As I've got older, they've got worse. Really? And as my period, as my post-cancer recovery has gone, my periods have just been up and down.
Yeah.
In saying that, though, there are a lot of things that I do to support my periods as well.
Yeah. Could you name some of those things?
Acupuncture. That has absolutely helped me in every shape or form. I know it doesn't work for everybody, but acupuncture has been
that's important.
Life-saving for my periods and my hormones.
Okay.
For me, it was the misbalance of hormones. And it was causing a lot of other things in my life, a lot of up and down moods and things like that. And I found acupuncture for a friend who recommended it to me. And I now do acupuncture 2 to 3 times a month. I used to do it every week. And then she told me, you're doing it too much. And she said, we can do a little bit less. And now I go 2 to 3 times a week. It balances me. It's completely changed my life. And I do head to toe acupuncture. And as a result, I have a monthly period now where I didn't have that before. I went through years of having irregular periods. But acupuncture, I have regular flow.
I love that. And that is a great tip for anybody listening.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that you can try. So if you're looking for a lifeline, maybe try acupuncture as another option. And circling back to turning 40, it's actually the one age I'm really excited to turn. I don't know why. I just feel very excited by that. It can be daunting for some, but how do you feel approaching it? Like, imagine yourself on a bit of a hill and like you've literally got like 3 or 4 more steps and then you're at the top. How do you feel?
I absolutely feel blessed. And it was an age I never thought I'd get to. After cancer, I was convinced that I would not make it to 40. I was like, I've got cancer at 30. How am I going to make it to 40? But my God, I am here. And I'm days away. And I tell you something, I feel so good. And I feel a lot more confident in myself. I feel a lot more sure of myself. Things that used to bother me don't bother me anymore. And I keep talking to people and they're like, 40's really changed me. And so I'm excited to get to that point as well and really step into who I am and own who I am. And just I'm excited. I really am.
I love it. And for someone who's 5 years younger, looking back at Leanne 5 years ago, now in this place, what would you tell her? Imagine I'm her. And I'm like, hey, I'm 34, which I am. Like, I'm just like, I'm just a bit confused about life.
I remember 34. I was looking at a video the other day and I was 34. You are enough as you are. That's what I would say. You are enough as you are and you do not need to change. That is what I would look back and tell my 34-year-old Leanne. Just always feeling like I needed to change and mould into somebody. I was always felt like, because obviously all the things I'd gone through, I felt like I was too wise or needed to fix myself or too difficult or unlovable. All the things I told myself. And all that I had to learn to undo, and I think that is what I'd look back on and say, you are enough as you are and don't you dare change. You will always be enough for everyone and everything that you need in your life. And that is it. And anyone that doesn't respect that can go. And it's true. Every single person that never respected that, I no longer have in my life. And that's funny. I don't miss them, or do I miss those situations I was in that I needed to get out of? So that is exactly what I would tell myself. And I would tell that to every woman. I think we live in this life where we believe we are not enough. And I think that's how the world wants us to be. Because if we stay like that, we will marketing. You got it, girl. You know it already. You're in the industry. You know it. And I think we have to do what we can to remind ourselves, stick together and remind ourselves that we are enough.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And thinking about what word you want to use to describe yourself 5 years from now. So looking forward and thinking, okay, I'm 39 now. At 44, what would I like to be saying about myself? What are some of those things?
happy, peaceful, confident. And there was a word that was flying around actually with me and my friend the other day. And we were talking about, it wasn't accomplished. It was something along the lines of content.
Contentment.
That was it. We were saying it was that. Because when you're content and you're just happy with where you're at, that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So happy, contentment. And you know what? Contentment really is the overarch for all of those things.
It really is.
You already live such a fulfilled life. You already live such a full life. You live a vivacious life. You live a interesting life. And I think even just from my perspective, on the outside looking in, but not really outside because we're friends, so I'm kind of inside. I think you have really demonstrated, because running a health-focused business isn't sexy. It's not like, you know, a new product that can do this for your makeup or this for your that. All of those things are really important. But like the work you do, like historically, isn't sexy.
Yeah.
And I think you have done a remarkable job.
Thank you.
At flying the flag for purpose-led work, advocacy for change, standing in the gap for people. I feel emotional. Wow.
Oh.
Because you really are such a light.
Oh, Cam.
You really are.
Thank
you.
Wow.
I didn't think I was going to get emotional.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you really are such a light.
Oh, Cam, thank you.
And every time I see you achieve something, I think, for the work this woman does, there's no one more deserving.
Oh, I love you.
I literally feel like there is no one more deserving.
Oh, don't make me cry.
And so,
oof, girl,
like as you journey up to 40, like I wish you everything you wish for yourself.
Thank you.
God's absolute best. And like,
means a lot.
Yeah. I wish you everything you wish for yourself and God's best. So I'm just grateful that you're also seeing this age with such grace and style and like sass and vibes and intellect and beauty and charisma and all the things, because based on the life you've lived, it would be very easy and understandable for you to not get here feeling the way that you do.
Yeah.
And I just think it's, as I said, it's like you are remarkable.
Thank you.
Like literally.
Gosh.
And there's so much more to come for you, and I'm just excited to see that all flourish.
Thank you.
Yeah.
God, I'll come here more often if I'm going to be treated like this, eh? I'm leaving feeling $1 million. Thank you.
No, honestly.
I love you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for you always being a supporter of all women as well, because you support all of us. It's not just me. You got us on these platforms and you talk, and we really tackle into things, and you give us the space to talk and be ourselves. I said to people, I stopped going on podcasts a long time ago. I just felt like I was repeating myself over and over again. And when you asked me, I was like, hell yeah, because I know what you're about, and I know the movements that you're making for the greater good of us as a community and women in general. Yeah. So thank you to you as well, because you're amazing, and I'm excited to see this journey grow. Yes. Because boy, the growth already to now. Yeah. Very proud of you.
Thank you, sis. Thank you. But we could talk forever.
I know.
We could talk forever. So tell people where they can follow you. Where can they connect with Black Women Rising? If there's anyone that's watching it thinking, actually, I know a Black woman who's got cancer. Yeah. This is actually a great resource for them. Yeah. Like, how can they connect with the work that you do?
So people can follow me at Leanne Pero Official. I'm on Instagram. But Black Women Rising UK, really, on Instagram. And we've got a website as well, which you can find on Instagram. That's our main platform that we're on. It's really where we started, really. So that's, and then you can find all the links. But we've got an amazing button on Instagram where you can just click through and it says get help, and you can just fill out the information there and someone will be in touch, within 7 days, and you'll be able to get all the support you need for a loved one or yourself. And we're able to support you. So, yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Guys, thank you so much for listening. As always, I will put Leanne's details in the show notes. It's been a beautiful conversation, and until the next one, love you. Bye.